Pretty Woman, a song by Roy Orbison. I think it was written by him, I'm not sure. But anyways, the riff starts off with picking string 6. We always count from the bottom up and we get this. Now there's some timing involved in that where we do some counting. Lots of people have to understand that music's about timing and trying to have notes fall on a certain timeline. In this one we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Of course, it's a lot faster. It's more like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That takes a while to build up if you haven't played for a long time. So take your time with it. I do find some students have a hard time reaching to there with finger 3. I get it. That's a tough stretch. Trying to keep your wrist down and get that finger up to there. You could do some stretching exercises starting down here where the frets are skinnier. Use fingers 1 and 3. I'm keeping finger 2 out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I wouldn't practice like that. Try to keep it up and ready, and same with your pinky. But basically you would take maybe just 2 frets in front of this finger, fret 10 and 12 we'll say. These are your frets in between each of these fret wires. That's fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can go from 10 with finger 1 to 12 and try to always keep a finger on as you're moving. If you can do that easy, of course do it slow, and you know, it looks easy for me because I've been playing for a while, but you know, it's like anything. If you're a jogger, you need to stretch before you go running. So finger 1, you could get to now fret 13 if you can do that and leave 1 on. And if that's hard, then work it for a little bit, maybe a couple days. And your wrist is always forward. It's never back like this. And then you can get to 5, but don't go crazy right away because you can hurt your hand. You slowly want to stretch your hand out. So that's a good idea for an exercise to try to get things. The other idea was maybe not press on this and just go do them individually. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Basically what's happening there is I'm picking string 6 twice. Always count from the bottom up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we get this 1 and then we're going to get finger 3 down here. So I always keep a finger there. Like I said, you could play it without that and just go 1 and 2 and 3. The best technique is to try to get this finger to press on strings 5 and 4 by teaching that knuckle to bend backwards. And what you want to do is put the flat part of your finger on there and just push your hand forward so your knuckle bends backwards a bit. And then you can try to get both of these strings 4 and 5 with the pad of your fingertip. Right about there, it's pressing on both of them. And then we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then does it again. For the second time you got to do it on the beat 3. So faster would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then he starts in with the chords. So the ending part of that riff is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so we got the fret 4 on string 4, fret 2 on string 4, and then open. And I'm using fingers 3 and 1. Here I'm using 3 and 1. And there again I'm just picking string 6, 5, and 4. So technically you don't even need to press on string 4. You could just have these two and go. Right? But this is a great move for things like Day Tripper. Right? So they tend to do that. So it's nice to learn different ways of playing one thing. My idea to get through that riff would be to take your time and count it and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and that's 4 times now of the whole thing. Then we get to the chord. In the chord we go to A major. Fast would be does the full riff there again. So to get through the chords, you'd probably want to get this A major. Basically, we're pressing on 2, 3, and 4. String 1 is open, and I'm only strumming from the 5th string down. And I get this down, down, up, up, down, up. That's a tough change, getting from an A. You can see my hands back here, and then I'm swiveling in like this to get my A. So I'm pivoting with my thumb on the back of the guitar. When I show my students this, they have a hard time with this technique. They bring their wrist back like this. What you want to try to do, I mean, you could have your wrist up like that, but I try to get my students to play more with their wrist back here. And I get it, you have to build muscle to press. So the more you do it, the easier it will get. So that's one change where we get this. And 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and down, down, up, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Back to the riff. It goes back to the verse again, where we have this A going to this F minor. Now you could bar the whole thing if you can do that too. Sometimes I like the bass to come out more on the bass instrument, so I'll leave the bass note out and just play the bottoms. So we can really hear that F sharp minor while the bass is playing the root note here of the chord. So yeah, we get an A minor with, and what I'm doing there is I get a bit of a mute. So if you've watched the tutorial on Here for a Good Time, which is the last video I just posted, teaches you a lot about muting. You might want to check that one out. Anyways, we get this where we're pressing down on the chord, and we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're always muting on the 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's one way you could mute on the 2 and 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's tricky. That's why I said go back and watch the video on Here for a Good Time by Trooper. There's lots of details on that about muting. If you're having a hard time with muting, then forget the muting and just get this down, down, up, up, down, up, F sharp minor, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, B, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Back to the chords again. Of course, I'm playing it slower and breaking it all down, so it can be tough to get it fast. You might want to practice counting. I'll give you some ideas on how to work through it. Now, again, we talked about the counting on the first riff, so do it slow. Most of the time we use things like metronomes, where this is actually ticking, and you try to play along to the metronome that's beeping for you. It's probably really hard for you guys to see and hear. So I use my foot too, so my foot's down and up. When my foot's hitting the floor, that's the numbers. When it's off the floor, that's the beats. So we get this 1 and 2. Let's try that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and maybe you want to just work the first two things where you get this 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Maybe you don't even want to do the count, just get your fingers to get good at that. I've been playing a long time, so my fingers can do it. I mean, if you're just starting out, then you want to work things like that. And then try to get 2 times, 1 and 2 and 3. And then you could work this part separate too. It's great because we use those a lot. You know, things like... So it's nice to practice things like... And it takes time to build that dexterity up.